Hello, hello!
This is the podcast, Girls.
And the city. You are welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Susanna, who is quoting one of funny quotes that Elizabeth shared with me this week, and the one is about Samantha, where the quote is, "I'm having a Samantha Jones summer, texting everyone and calling it networking." If you want to ask more, we can touch on it after the intro.
And I'll take Charlotte's. So I guess I'm having a Charlotte York summer, which means romanticizing my situationship and crying at brunch. I don't have a situationship to romanticize, but I feel like that would be a me vibe.
Are you crying on the brunch?
I'm a Pisces. I cry all the time. It's part of my healthy cycle. I just got to let it all out. Cleansing.
I think I 100% support that.
Thank you.
Put it out.
It's a natural detox. It comes with the personality traits.
Honestly, I cry all the time to get out the emotions as well, and I'm not Pisces, so
it's okay. You can all join the bright side. Which is also sometimes the dark side.
This went down very quickly.
Yeah. Anyways, but about the podcast, we watch an episode of Sex and the City. We talk about the main question. We try to answer it. Sometimes we can or cannot. But in the meantime, we try to relate some of the experiences and see if they're relevant today. And we share some stories from our own experiences or literally our friends. So today we're going to be talking about season 2, episode 8. The name is Old Dogs, New Dicks, from what I know.
Yeah, not a fan of the
I don't
name.
know what the episode name is actually from. I didn't find it relevant to... I guess it's Old Dog, New Tricks kind of thing. Maybe it's a play on words from that. But anyways, what's been your week's recap? How has it been going?
So, I am gonna start with weather in London because that's what I always do. As you can see behind me, there's an open window and I'm almost naked. I'm not naked, I just have a very cropped top. So I can survive the heat in London, which is...
Heat, I swear.
It's above 30 degrees in London, which is crazy in itself.
It was 37 the entire last week here. I don't think you understand.
I mean, I do. Trust me. I lived around. I experienced even worse temperatures. The problem here is that I don't have an AC and I don't have a fan because my fan is back in Slovakia since I didn't bring a fan with me when I was moving here in November.
You can buy one, I swear. You need one.
I'm leaving for Slovakia in 3 weeks, so I can... And also the heat in London is 2 days and then it's gonna be 22 degrees again, so
yeah, but we all love to complain about it, so that's part of the culture.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining. I'm just it's warm. That's why I'm kind of as we go through the episodes, I'm wearing less and less clothes. But I think this is the most... No, this is the maximum I will go.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, but it's been very sunny, very nice, so, great. And I also am able to sleep.
Finally.
Which I don't know what happened. I think I just got used to it. But yesterday there was a festival, in the park nearby.
Is it All Points East?
No.
Oh, okay. That's the one that I know about.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I need to check it out when that is happening.
I think it's towards the end of the summer. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I might not be here. Anyway, so I was able to fall asleep while the music was out, going the whole night.
She needs a little lullaby. That's what she needs.
No, I don't know. I either got used to it or I'm just tired, or the life shit recently makes me tired.
Vibes. Wow.
And I also went for a mani and pedi.
Oh, mani pedi. Okay.
And a little bit of context, I don't do my nails ever because I hate the gel.
Really?
And when it's just doesn't feel natural, and then when I want to remove it, my nails break like crazy. So I just don't like doing it. And it's expensive also. So anyway, I wanted to do the pedi, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to do the manicure, but just with a normal nail polish.
Yeah.
And do it at the salon and see how long this lasts.
Fair.
This will last, because when I do it myself, it lasts 2 hours, and then I start to take it off. It's actually lasting days now.
Oh, good.
I'm very happy about it.
It's very cute.
The problem is she kind of cut it short, and now when my body parts are itching, like my leg right now,
Oh, you can't really scratch
I
the
can't
itch.
scratch it. So I'm scratching with this paper.
She's found tools.
Yeah, your girl
She's a handy
will find a
woman.
way.
She will
Exactly.
find a way. When there's an itch, there's a way.
And it also, I'm gonna use it as a ventilator.
A little fan. I like
There and
it.
there. Or like, what's the name of the thingy?
I think just a fan. That's literally what it is, a hand fan.
A hand fan.
A hand
Okay.
fan.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but I think I'm gonna focus on these two things because why not,
So we're
When
keeping it
life gives
short
you
and
lemons, make lemonade out of it, and I am in process of making mine at the moment, so let's see.
She's channeling Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
100%, 100%. I love it.
I went for a concert and now I am forever, Stan. I was a fan, now I'm Stan.
She's part of the Queen Bee crew.
Yeah, that's gonna be in like a year, not yet.
Not yet. We're just getting started. We're just getting started.
Yeah, she hasn't discovered me yet.
One day though.
Yeah.
My goodness.
What about you? What's new?
Oh, what is
Besides
new?
the fact that you had 37 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually gotten a little bit cooler. No, this week was actually insane. I'm back home, which is good. I was in Philadelphia this week, but usually, like, this is funny. This is a big reflection of, like, the fact that I'm actually home this weekend means I didn't really like Philadelphia because I didn't end up staying the weekend there because usually I will. Whenever there's a work trip, I love to stay the weekend just to explore the city. I've been to Philadelphia before, so, like, I've seen it. I don't really like it. I don't feel really safe there. To a point that, like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
at the
sad.
hotel. It's very central. It was, like, downtown by the city hall. And one night I was thinking, like, oh, I kind of want ice cream. But it was, like, 9 p.m. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go out. And, like, an hour later, I get, like, a notification that there was a shooting outside the CVS where I wanted to go get the ice cream. And I was like, good thing I didn't go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's, like, a little scary.
I feel like downtowns in the US, big cities usually are not great.
And yeah, it depends where as well, because like DC's fine, as well as like where I live, like Old Town is fine too. It really depends. But yeah, no, Philadelphia is kind of like not safe. So I don't know. It was fine. It was a good work trip though. I was like happy to see everyone. We went to see our client as well. They catered lunch for us. I was like, this is bougie. They prepared like slides and
Nice.
stuff like that. And I was like, you guys are paying us money. I'm like, I don't know why you're so nice to us, but okay. But otherwise, yeah, things have been good at work. Launched my product. Now I'm trying to sell it. It's great. I love
Is it going good?
it's going fine. It's better than it was last week. Last week was a little rough.
That's all what it means.
That's
Progress.
Progress. Slow and steady progress. We're making it. Otherwise, what else? I was contemplating buying a car as well, so I'm back on that saga.
Okay. Do you need it?
Honestly, like, we talked about this last week, but, like, out of convenience, I really just want it. And it's probably because it is so hot in the summer, and I'm tired of waiting for the bus or the metro, and I am becoming a pampered baby that I'm like, yeah, I do want a car. So maybe in a couple of weeks, one of my friends might come down and help me go buy a car because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Do you have any like idea? What
I
you
do.
want?
I do have the idea, but like since I want to buy a used car, like someone who knows cars has to go look at it with me to make sure that we're looking out for the right things. Otherwise, I will just show up, be like, hee hee, here's the money. Can I have car now? Yeah, so hopefully that will be good. And then we have 4th of July this week, which is pretty big in America.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go fly to Rhode Island to go hang out with my friend because her town apparently goes very big on 4th of July. So
Where is that? What
Rhode Island, it's kind of like
Oh,
close,
Rhode Island.
yeah, it's close to New York, like Connecticut, Massachusetts, that area. It's like one of the smaller states there. But yeah, otherwise it's been a pretty good week. I'm glad to be back in DC. I really missed my bed. I'm noticing that more and more and more. But yeah, no, otherwise I'm excited to have the summer. I do complain about the heat, but I do also have a pool right next to my apartment, which is also nice. I can just go lay there.
Come on. Like I'm at the wrong side of this.
I know, it's like privilege 101. I know. But yeah, but shall we get into it? We have a spicy episode. I'll give the summary, I promise. I'll do my best. Anyways, we start with Carrie talking about how New York has some of the most beautiful women in the world, which actually agree. I think like by having the like very big diverse city, you do get some of the most beautiful people in there. So apparently men are always looking around, and even Big specifically. So she's, I think, bothered by the fact that he keeps on admiring other women and sometimes is distracted by the fact of it. So it's something that's starting to begin to kind of bubble up and bother her. Then we also see Miranda and Steve as they kick off their relationship, but obviously due to the fact that like she's a lawyer and he's a bartender, they literally have the opposite schedule. So it's starting to have conflict in their relationship because when one goes to sleep and has nothing to do during the day, like Miranda has to get up early and go to work, and so that's driving some friction between them. And then we have Charlotte, who's obviously starting to date yet another notable man who's a food critic, and he's like obsessed with her, which is amazing. Love that for Charlotte. But he has an uncircumcised penis, and so that's also becoming a topic of conversation as Charlotte is encountering that for the first time. And I think within the friend group, they've had mixed reviews of the situation.
I mean, like, I feel like in the US it's rather uncommon.
I'd say so, yeah.
Based on their conversation.
Based on their conversation. I think it is much more common in Europe, but Charlotte seemed to be like, that's completely a deal breaker for her, and she's like, that's not the thing for me. Whereas Samantha, being Samantha, is like, yeah, it could be fun sometimes. And it sounded like Miranda and Carrie also were kind of like of the opinion of like, yeah, like it does happen. But all of this comes, I think, like to the same discussion of quirks and things you can and cannot change about your partner and your relationship, especially as Carrie is bothered by the fact that like there are some things that are starting to creep up between her and Big that are starting to occur a little bit. Let's just say that way. Like it's bothering her. But I'd say that's like the most of the episode. With Charlotte and her guy though, he does decide that he wants to get a circumcision because he has gotten that kind of feedback from a lot of women. So he goes through with the procedure. They have a great night, but then all of a sudden he basically delivers the news that since he's rediscovered himself in such a way and he feels like a new man, he needs to do a lot more discovery by
he wants to share
himself. And so he doesn't want to be tied down to one woman, and he feels like he has to, you know, bop around town a little bit more. And so he breaks things off with Charlotte, which, you know,
I'm not sure if he breaks it. I think he was like, oh yeah, we are not exclusive now because I have this new
rediscovered
improved,
self,
tool, and I want to share it with more than one person. She was like, I think that's it for me.
Yeah. And I always like respect Charlotte for respecting her own boundaries and just keeping them up. Just because, again, at the end of the day, she's always one to know what she likes.
Yep. Just like one small thing. Samantha didn't really have a big plot this episode. It was very small. But I think like with relation to the question that this episode is about, she basically meets this guy when they are on a night out playing bingo who used to...
Yeah.
Like they used to sleep together, I imagine. And he is a drag queen, but he is basically called Samantha. And when she kind of sees that, she's surprised what happened there. And he says imitation is the biggest form of flattery. So that's pretty much Samantha and her thing on this episode.
Yeah, she was shocked. But I think like...
She wasn't happy. She wasn't that happy about it.
She wasn't, which is like, I think interesting, but also like not that big of a deal. I think it just took her by surprise, and it's also like
because
I don't know how.
I imagine that like she would kind of be happy or like flattered about it.
I think she was just surprised, and it was like the shock factor, but it's also like how much of an impact can you have on a person from like, it sounded like it was just like a one night stand type of situation knowing Samantha, and like to have such a serious impact on someone, to have them like basically take on your persona is kind of a lot to take in.
Yeah,
honestly,
I agree.
But wow. All right, where shall we start off? Which part would you like to
Well,
kick off with?
so you need to put a question first. If
Oh, right. How dare I avoid that? Tiptoeing it around it, honestly. So the main question that I gathered from the episode is, can you change a man?
yes,
Yeah. I
that
mean, I
is.
had the follow-up question of, like, can you change a woman? Like, can you change any person? But I think we do touch upon that later on in the episode as well.
I mean, I think like yeah, because it's Sex in the City, we always focus on men more. But it's a general question for can you change your partner or someone
Yeah.
you're seeing or just generally a person and how they behave. One person says, "My husband was watching football the whole time. Then I slept with his best friend, and he's obsessed with watching me now." Another person says, "This is from a guy's perspective. Every girlfriend wanted to change something: the job, friends, attitude. The only thing I change is the girlfriend."
Sounds like a man.
And then the third answer is from a woman again, and she's no,
Jeez.
just no.
Just no. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that kind of probably summarizes the general vibe of also the episode. But maybe where I would like to start is to kind of go a little bit deeper on this and focus on one line that Carrie said throughout the episode, which is maybe Big was right. Maybe we got to the point in our relationship where all these little things that you love about them become the liabilities. As you mentioned, she's bothered by the fact that he's checking out other women when she is around him. So he is making it quite obvious. But as we go into the episode more and more, there are other things that kind of start to be not so La La Land as she imagined at the beginning. He makes her wait in the lobby of his apartment complex for 30 minutes. He pushed her off the king's bed
Unintentionally.
unintentionally, but kind of feeling like he doesn't even realize I'm here or he doesn't care, and so he wanted to expand on his huge bed and push me off it as a result. So yeah, I mean, I can relate. But maybe, to start this whole part is, was there something or have you experienced something in your life where you really didn't like about your partner and you felt like you wanted to change it or it bothered you, and how did you go around it? Because we see with Carrie, she goes around it like she usually does, which is not saying it directly until something explodes, and then she is like, "Oh yeah, actually, this is the problem."
Yeah, and I'm curious for your opinion as well, but I think obviously again, no one is perfect and no one's trying to be perfect, but at the same time, there have been a number of times that there are things that I wish were different about my partners, but I think there are some things that can be changed and fixed through conversation, but then there are things that are absolute habits that would be extremely impossible. Like for me, for example, like I don't smoke, but I've dated people that do, and like long term, I was like, that's not gonna work. And
I mean,
that's a
that's
habit
fair.
that's really hard to drop. And I think, again, if the connection is very strong, maybe you do have the conversation of, hey, I see long term potential for you, except for this one thing, right? For me, it might be smoking, or the same thing with like doing recreational drugs as well. I think like, that kind of thing is
Wow,
extremely hard to change.
you went directly for
Yeah, but
like.
it's true. Those for me, like, because people can talk about things that are non-negotiables, things that are full-on deal breakers. So for me, it's that, or like a habit of cheating, for example, right? These things that I literally would call as literally red flags. But if it's small habitual things of, I don't know, like maybe this is probably more common in like the 20s rather than 30s, hopefully. But someone who like, doesn't do their laundry, doesn't do the dishes and things like that, like those kinds of things, they're annoying and they're frustrating, but I think they can be worked on, right? It's more of like we're collectively coming together, and it's like I understand you are used to your lifestyle of living alone, but now that let's say we moved in together and it's a collaborative environment, and I think it's like very fair to have the conversation of there are some things like we need to change about our lifestyle in order to live together.
This is an interesting topic with laundry, because what do you think should be the right approach here? Do you think that you should do it together as combining your laundries, or you should do your own laundries?
I think like down the line, just do it together, just because like, and I don't think I know that people do assign it as roles, but for me, it's when you see it piling up, just go throw it in the laundry, like, and I think it's definitely like, I would mix laundries. I don't think it has to be like separated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because for me, this is one of the things,
Really?
and no, no, no. Sorry, I
You do your
agree.
laundry separately?
No, no, no. I wanted to say I actually, what you are saying, because for me, also growing up, we would just do laundry all together. My mom would go around the house and being like, "Do you have something that, needs
Needs
to
to be
be
washed.
washed?"
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
or like collect it for me, and like this is how I always worked.
Right.
Also in my relationships, I was always like, okay, usually there is a specific day when I did laundry and I was like, I'm doing laundry, give me everything that you want to wash.
Yeah.
For me, it's not about who is putting it into the washing machine.
Right.
I'm doing my laundry weekly, and give me whatever you need. But I've heard the opposite, where it was like, no, we do it separately because it's not my partner's responsibility to wash my clothes, which I was
I think it's one of
shocked,
those things that
because
are
it's
collective,
also,
honestly.
yeah, it's also like you save money, energy, everything if you like combine it. So to me, it was surprising when that was like, yeah, it's not my partner's responsibility. I was like, there is nothing about responsibility. It's more like it just makes sense. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna do two small washes if you can do one big.
No, that makes sense. And I think again, it goes back to I think your point as well of like it's how you were raised and how well the norms you had in the household. Because
Yeah.
for me as well, I think yeah, earlier in my childhood, my mom did do a lot of the household things because my dad genuinely was like at work. He would leave at 8 a.m. and would come back at 10, 11 p.m. So genuinely, he didn't have a lot of time to do things around the house, except for like on the weekends maybe, right? So, but like as my dad had more time and capacity, he like also started cooking a lot of the things, cleaning a lot of the things, doing the laundry and things like that. So like at that point, it became more of a collective effort, and I think it's very normal to share those kinds of responsibilities as long as people are more or less putting in the same effort. I don't think anyone should take on more or less of the household chores.
I think, and it goes back to what you said, it's all about conversation.
Yeah.
If you guys agree that one partner is going to be covering 90% of the household chores, and you are both fine with it because you set it up in a certain way, I don't know, like I'm going to do household, and maybe you're going to, pay more rent because like
Oh,
you
you
are working
subsidize it with
longer.
rent. Interesting. That's an interesting
No,
approach.
no, no. I mean, I'm just trying to say
Maybe I should
is
explore that model.
yes. It's like if you are okay with doing that, it's all about what works for you as a couple.
Yeah.
The problem starts when you feel like you are doing much more than the other
Right.
person, or there's this mismatch, and that creates resentment or just,
Just friction. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
exactly. So, like, that's the whole thing. But anyway, we kind of went on a specific
I
topic
mean,
of
I
household.
think it's a fair one as well, right? Have you had any other
I,
instances where like your partner just started to bug you?
oh, yeah.
Okay, what are some
I think
examples?
um, I need to work on this probably.
What did you do?
I No, I didn't do anything specific. I just think that I have my
Yeah.
routines, and I need to function in my routines specifically when it's my house.
Okay.
So when I live with someone, it's almost like I will do my routines regardless of who I am with.
Yeah.
And I recognize that some of them might just not, be needed, or other people do it differently. And just because I need to do it my way, I can't expect from the other person that they have to also do it my way.
Okay.
So
Any
for
tangible
me,
examples?
for example, like doing, yeah, this was like one of, like we going back to the laundry, but it was an example that was a case in one of my relationships where I would do laundry weekly,
Okay.
and it's just like a habit I have. And my partner didn't need to do it weekly. Like he would do it less often, but then he would do like multiple
Loads.
cycles,
Yeah.
yeah, in one day. And I could not wait. Like I was like, I don't want to do it. So I would just like proactively being like, okay, I need to do it weekly, so I'm gonna do this. I'm not forcing you to do it because
Yeah.
I need to, but if you have stuff, give it to me, and then I'm kind of combining my our two ways of doing it to the way that you don't mind, but I want to do it this way because otherwise I would get frustrated.
Right. Okay.
So, like, being reflective of my own limitations, I recognize that some of the habits I have are just, if I need to do it my way, then I can't expect that the other person will like completely do it as well just because I need it. So
Yeah.
I am happy to kind of take over it. But then there is like a level where like things, they should be shared. You just need to also discuss it.
For sure. Yeah.
Um,
And I think this is not only
so
just romantic partners. Same thing works with like roommates, flatmates, everyone else.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I think we kind of focus a lot on like living together. But the whole thing with Carrie, for example, was like that Big was checking out other women
Yeah.
when they were together,
Yeah.
and
Has
I
that ever
personally
happened to you? Like,
well, not this obviously. Like
right.
he was doing it to the point like he didn't even care whether that affects her or not, and he was like very obvious. That never happened to me. Like I didn't feel I was disrespected, but I definitely had, conversations where I would be like, "Oh, this woman looks good," or like she has a really good butt, or
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
has a really good body, and we would be like, just yeah, she looks really good, or like the same goes for men. But I was more like they are attractive, and I recognize it, and then I would just kind of say to my partner, or vice versa. But
Okay.
no, not like in this way.
Interesting. I do think, I mean, it's a TV show. It's probably over exaggerated in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, the equivalent of that, I'm actually really curious, is like, I know there are some girls that get bothered by their partner liking Instagram posts of like girls in bikinis, and like that's a pretty big topic. What is your perspective on it?
You know what? Like, actually, before this episode, I was just on Instagram because I was waiting for Elizabeth because she was a little bit late.
Calls me out.
No, but come on, like
I'm
we
always
both
really
have
late.
our
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
that. This is part of your personality,
Well, I hope
and
not.
it's fine. But I was going on through my Instagram, and just this like video of a very very attractive woman with very rich breast area.
Okay,
Let's
voluptuous.
call it that way.
Yep.
She like the random video showed on my a For You page,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, she's actually very pretty in her face. So I went to her profile, and when I went there, I saw two people that followed the page, and both of them are men, and both of them are like friends of mine that are in long-term relationships.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I would wonder, to what extent this is fine with their partners or not, because she was, I wouldn't say an OnlyFans type of girl, but going there,
Okay.
So I was literally thinking about the same thing. And I think, again, there's like a limit, right? I know people that are way over the top with this, and by people I mean men, where they would be like following a lot of them, and if you go to their Instagram and open For You page, it just would be like flooded by these girls and
Yeah.
very obscene ways of them showing the body. I would not like that as if I would be, a long-term girlfriend of them, because I don't know. It's like you can like people's pictures,
Yeah.
but if it's like only that thing that you have on Instagram, then why, or what does that mean? Never happened to me. So I would have, obviously everyone is liking, and I sometimes would like, not necessarily men, but just like nice pictures of a girl, and was always fine with me. But it never was to the extent that it would feel like it's too much. It was like, well, you are a popular person and you have a lot of girls on Instagram that kind of know you or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they would post a new picture, like, yeah, you like it, right? But like, that's it. Yeah, I was going on a long monologue here. So yeah, it depends by situation. By itself, no. But if you do it extensively, I think everything, which is, if you do it too much, is starting to be weird.
Interesting. Because I'm trying to understand the fine line. Because, like, how is that different than porn, for example? How is that different than a strip
Oh.
club? Like, it's obviously, like, these girls are unattainable to them. So, I like this. And also, like, I don't know, seeing naked paintings of women in art galleries. Like, how is that all different? Because at the end of the day, they're not, like, people they've probably ever met or will ever meet.
Okay, that's a good point. But then how would it make you feel if you have a long-term partner and you see his For You page and when you open it and it's just girls?
I think it's a little weird because, like, I only think it's weird because, like, girls don't do that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
clear, like, admiration and almost, like, sometimes to borderline objectification of women. I don't get the part of the brain that in men that are like, ooh, that's so good. And I'm like, but I also, like, maybe it's just I wouldn't say like it's sexuality, but maybe I'm just not that like sexual of a person that degree. Because like I remember when I went to like the Magic Mike show with our friends, and it's like they were literally, I'm not kidding, like drooling over the men. Whereas like I've never like had that kind of thing. But that's again, maybe it goes back to like the things that you love and admire about like let's say the opposite sex, right? Because like for me, it's like I think you as well. It's like it's more of the intellectual thing that we're like, oh my god, like I'm obsessed with you. Whereas for some people, it is maybe physical.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you do it within like decently, like if you admire
You do it
women
respectfully.
decently, yeah, like I think you can tell if it's too much,
Yeah,
in a relationship
yeah,
or like the whole way that you behave. Overall is not a problem, but then yeah, like it can be a problem in certain situations. I don't know.
right.
I see the point, but I also know, real examples of couples where girls were annoyed by it, and knowing the context and also the guy, I would be annoyed as well because I would
Interesting.
feel like not fully secure.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I feel like I think it's weirder. Like for example, in the case where I would be bothered by it if it was like my or his friends, like people that he like we actually know, and then it's like a very sexy bikini photo. In that case, I'm like, do you have a crush on my friend? Like that
Interesting.
would
For
weird me
me,
out more.
for me, it's actually better if you like give a like to a friend rather than like this Instagram model that is,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. I just think it's like
in a,
it,
in a
obviously it's not like a
category.
Sex in the City type thing, but I was also thinking about like, the modern day equivalent of like what would actually get me to that level of bugged, frustrated as Carrie was. And I think it
Yeah.
would be that. Like, that's what would bring out my insecurity personally if it's like me thinking the guy that I'm with likes my friend better than me, for
I
example.
don't I don't mind if you like pictures of your friends. I do that, and so I don't think you should not. The problem would be if you would be texting way too much.
Yeah.
And again, you can spot that, right?
Yeah.
Um
I guess.
and again, it's like depends on the context. Like if you are friend with this person and I also know the person and we regularly meet in like a bigger group setting, you're texting and it's like a very close friend of yours, it's fine. But if it's like a friend from school that you don't really meet, but then you would suddenly text a lot,
Yeah. No, that's fair.
that would be
It
like
raises some
why.
alarms.
Exactly. But anyway, let's move to like a second part of the whole discussion here,
Yep.
which was more about Miranda and Steve and the idea
The
of,
opposing schedules.
yeah, and who needs to be the one changing the routine. So, like, clearly, Miranda, working as a lawyer, she had a very strict routine and regime. She had to wake up in the morning, go to work a lot, and then being Miranda, of course, she also had very set ways of doing her things on the weekend versus Steve is like the complete opposite, like live in the moment, working in the bar in the night, and
Yeah.
they really struggle to find a way to be together or enjoy time. And at the end of the episode, like it basically was that Miranda kind of compromised on her routines and her needs to accommodate Steve. I don't think he changed at all any of his
Well, okay,
routines.
not to play devil's advocate, but I think
But
like the fact like I understand and I appreciate and respect her routines on the weekends, but like that is free time. Whereas Steve, even I think on the weekends, he doesn't have the luxury of moving his schedule around because as a bartender, I'm sure you're trying to pick up as many shifts as you can at odd hours to make like the ends meet. Because again, like she in this case has the I don't want to say again this like the more luxurious job where she can make a lot of these trade-offs even though like her routine and her free time are kind of important. But I think like at this point you do want to have the conversation and reach a middle ground, being like, how much can you give and how much can I give?
yeah, I mean, I see the point, but I also, because I rely to Miranda a lot, like I plan my weekends ahead, and I don't like if someone kind of like spontaneously be like, "Oh, do you want to meet today?" I'm like, "Well, I already planned my day in my head, and I don't really want to do that."
Yeah.
So I really would not like if someone be like, "Oh no, stay in bed the whole day because I want to cuddle," and I'm like, "No, but I want to do my Pilates class and I want to
Yeah.
do my washing because that's what I do on Saturdays." I would be bothered, and the fact that he didn't do any adjustments but called her out by being too rigid.
No, I think
Yeah.
like definitely could have handled the conversation better. Agreed.
So I definitely think it's about compromising, but the point here was, what Carrie pointed out also, why is it women that always have to change and never the guy? Like, it kind of was portrayed in the episode where the guys didn't have to change, but then the girls had
Well,
to do
except for
all the
Charlotte's dude.
ways.
He changed, but changed a little too much.
Okay, yeah, true. I mean, like he changed. Also, like he changed because he realized he wants to change, so he is more.
Okay, but
He's perceived.
how many guys in your past life have you like I don't want to say trained but adjusted their lifestyles to meet your own needs that were helpful to the next girlfriend?
I think every.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is just another example, but it's more of a tangible one.
I think that it's this whole spiel of if the guy is in long-term relationship in his 20s, the first girlfriend that they have kind of forms him
Yep.
into like what it means to live with the woman and
She
like in
teaches him how to
long-term
be in a
relationship.
relationship. Yeah.
Exactly. And so then it's like much easier for him and also next girlfriend to kind of, I think, understand what it means, but also like it's easier. I don't know if it's the same for a
I think it
girl and the
is.
guy.
I still think it is. For women, obviously, it's probably going to be different things, but it's like even how
Yeah,
you
maybe.
communicate, right? It's like it's probably teaching you to be more direct, more open about like how you feel and what you need.
Yeah.
Because at least that's like the things that I've learned of like you can't just bottle it up and expect people to read your mind when you're frustrated. Like you have to be open about it. So I think like
But is
different
but
things,
is that
but in different ways.
but is it a female trait? I wouldn't say that's a female trait. I think that's more like personality.
It might be personality, but I personally think it might be a lot of female trait because like, and maybe it's just a cultural thing of like you just have to like suck it up and do what people want you to do or like be convenient for other people. That just like again that might resonate just with me in some other edge cases, but person to person, I think it does vary a lot. Because there are
Yeah,
also some girls that are like, I want it my way or no way. And in that case, like, you kind of have to
Yeah.
be a little bit more lenient in the other way, sweetie.
It's like I feel like for men is more like learning how to live with a girl, and kind of the girl takes care of the household and also probably them, and like create these routines in their life, versus for a girl and a woman, it's more about learning to live with the man, and that like they function differently, and it's fine if not everything is working exactly
Yeah.
how you plan it.
Right. I'd agree with that.
And that still means that they like you, or like they are fine. And they also, I think a lot of times, by they I mean men, just like accept and like are patient with our mini outbursts of something not going
Feelings.
how we imagine, or that.
Feelings.
I mean, Bix kind of concludes it pretty well. So after Carrie punches him, then he storms out of the bed, being like, "Yeah, your bed is yours. Not time for talking now." She's like, "Oh, but do you want to like?
Yeah.
Can we talk?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, not now." Then he goes to living room. He falls asleep, and then she wakes him up with eyes dropping on his face, which like
he handled it very well.
he handled it so well. Like if I would be big, I would be so fucking pissed because she wakes me up second time in a night and wants to talk. Right? Which is like, girl, just like tell me when you actually have the problem in the moment, not like 2 days later in the middle of the night. But anyway, she comes, she wakes him up, and what was it? Like, she's like, yeah, it wasn't really about the cigar the
He's
other
like,
day.
it never
and
is.
He's like, it never is. Yeah, exactly. And that's a great way of like putting it. That yeah, they have a lot of patience with us, I think. Which
No, and for sure. I think that's definitely a trait of older men, because, like, again, I bash some of the older men that I've been with, but they have been patient with me, whereas, like, I think younger guys would have been like, this is it, we're done, we've had our fight, like, we can't, reconcile any of it, whereas, like, they have been like, okay, we're frustrated right now, we're not going to resolve any of this right now, let's come back to it, actually properly have a conversation. And I've done the Carrie thing of waking them up in the middle of the night and starting a fight. I've done it.
Okay,
it was not pretty, but they were patient with me. They just sat there and they're like, "All right, you want to talk in the middle of the night? This is horrible, but I'll listen. Am I gonna resent you, make you feel bad about this later? Probably, but like, all right, let's do this."
Not my case. We just had a huge fight.
No, we had. I still, did not hear the end of it. It was brought up time and time again, but like, in that case, like, there are definitely some things that I could have done better, or like been a little bit more mature about it, and like, I wouldn't want someone to write me off as like a potential person to actually be with or build a life with based on those kinds of things. But I'm just saying is like, women aren't perfect either. Like, I think in this case we do bash on men, but I do want to be like Steve's advocate in this case of like, he's also trying his best. The schedules are not great, and like, that's why I think where Miranda got really frustrated that he like fell asleep when she was trying to do her like grand gesture. But like, at the end of the day, he was just a guy who was working all day and had some long hours, and as much as he'd love to see her and spend time with her, it's not always easy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole discussion of them being completely from different lifestyles, groups.
Yeah.
That by itself is difficult, like, to align. But yeah, you're right. It's very easy to see a situation from your point of view only and not consider how the other person feels. And if both of you are like that, it's also hard to kind of find sometimes, or just realize that we should be finding a middle point.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, relationships, also living with someone
Always tough.
that often and like that close, sharing one room, sharing one bed, that is hard.
One bathroom. Sometimes people have different bathroom setups, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, even like with parents, right? Like, even if you have one bathroom, you still have separate beds or like separate rooms. But this is like,
there are a number of marriages where people have told me that like they don't sleep in the same bedroom, and like that's something that's worked for them.
I used to do that with one of my partners because it was just like sleeping wise we were not compatible, and there were moments where he wanted to work very hard and he wanted to wake up very early. So I was like, yeah, can we please split? Because then I wake up also very early, but I can't go to sleep that early as well. So, and that was great. Like, it worked. I don't think it's a problem. It's again about finding what works for you as a couple.
No, for sure, for sure. And again, I think it goes back to like Mr. Pink's comment of like, violence is not the answer. Let's talk about this. And I think sometimes these conversations are inherently hard, and I've also had a hard time approaching them just because sometimes you think oh, this is a habit of theirs, and just like you're talking to me about like me always never being punctual, and like that's a hard conversation to have because sometimes people might take it defensively, right? They might think like you're criticizing their personality or their character or their way of living, and they might take it too personally and might get offended, and you might actually hurt them in the end. But
Yeah.
I do think that the truth is the hardest thing to say, but it's also like I think the most proactive thing you can do to actually. It might hurt in the moment and it might like offend them in the moment, but in the long term, you kind of figure out if it's gonna work or not.
Yeah. It's so about delivery
Yeah,
also.
yeah. But also, question on Miranda and Steve, and a personal question to you: are you pro or against cuddling post sex?
Oh, I love cuddling in any situation.
Because she was so bothered by it, and like
But she was bothered by it because she wanted to do her things,
her,
and he just
it
wanted to
wasn't on her
like
schedule. But also, you can't. But
exactly.
like some things like that, you really just cannot schedule. And I've like
I don't know.
I've unfortunately
I
in the
kind of
past like offended someone apparently because like I would be up and like again this was a very similar situation to like Miranda in the sense that like I have a very set job of like it has to start at this time because I've got calls, I've got things to do, I have prep to do, and it ends at this time. Whereas my partner at the time like had a very like free schedule because all they had to do is just like show up at some point, do their job at some point. So they were a lot more flexible during the day where they didn't have like set hours and things like that. So they had a lot more freedom. And so whenever like I would wake up and I'd spend a little too much time in bed with them and then I'm like we'd be I don't know, this is like TMI, but in the middle of like making out and then I'm like, "Oh my god, the time, like I have to go." And he would get upset with me because like I would just drop everything in like the sweet moment that we
okay, but
had.
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's like disrespectful of my like
And
time
we're
also
just coming
because
from
like
such different worlds because to him he's like yeah if I have like something to do I can push it but I'm like I have like so many other people depending on me that I really cannot push it.
that's true, but that's what I mean again. Like to me that's like disrespect from the other party because it's about like also trying to understand the other person and how like whatever the priorities or how they work.
Yeah.
And it's clear, like you have 10 meetings. You cannot just push them by 30 minutes
But
because
they
you are
come
not
from
the
a different world, so they don't understand the fact of like, oh, meetings and actually having to be on a call. They think like video calls are like silly. Like, you have to really understand like these people who are like coming from like again a completely
who
different
are you
work life.
dating?
Who are you dating? Not everyone
That's
has
my
an office
question.
job, is all I'm saying. Like,
I'm not saying that, but even like people who don't have office job
no, people
understand
who are like
like
self-employed, like any like literally a lot of like either creatives or like people who are doing stuff for themselves like on their own schedule, they do not comprehend the idea of
okay,
like
but they still have client calls where like they
some
understand
people
like I
do, some
need to
people
be
don't. Like, and again, it depends on who their clients are because their clients could also be like, yeah, like just come by anytime. Like again,
okay.
and this is where I understand
Anyway,
Miranda's side of like rigidity of like I have to do this by this time. I have to be there because like I'm on a schedule. Versus like Steve is like, yeah, I show up at the bar, I do my job, and then I go home late. So like,
yeah, but like even he has to be there at some point, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like we all have at some point there is like time where we need to do something by certain time.
right,
And like that's what I mean like by disrespecting or like not willing to kind of understand the other.
yeah,
Because when I tell I'm sorry, I need to do it, like I can't just like, push it
right.
and they still make you feel bad about it. Like sorry, but like that is
That's
just
on you. Yeah.
that that's just like yeah,
No, I
like
agree. I
you are an
agree.
asshole.
No, obviously we
Um
eventually had the conversation. It was fine, but it's like in the moment, that's what it felt like, and I was like, I really can't do much about it. I like this. This is my job, and this is
yeah.
how I make the ends meet. And I was like, hey, if you want to make me a housewife, go for it. But until
Or that.
until then,
Or that.
I gotta go
Uh,
pay the bills.
yeah, no, I mean, like, as I said, I relate to Miranda here. I am a person who also, like, thinks in activities,
Yeah,
and
and actual time
when I'm
blocks
in,
and breaks and things like that. Yeah,
and exactly, and I am a morning person. So, like, if there is, cuddling in the morning, like, we cuddle, but then I'm like, okay,
let's go.
now, what else? Like, how long is this gonna go? Because I want to eat my breakfast. I want to do that. I want to do exercises.
Oh,
And, like, I'm very active. So I just don't like lying in the bed until 12. Like, that to me is waste of my time. we can cuddle for a little bit, but also like not
Like,
too
what's our
much.
next
So
plan?
exactly. So I often would be like, how much more do you want to do this?
She's so funny.
Just to understand, like I need to program my idea of what I can expect in the next 2 hours.
How early in the dating stage do you expose that? Because I'm also curious. Because, like, obviously when you meet someone and you have, like...
I mean, like, if I sleep with someone in one bed overnight, that is already quite serious. I wouldn't do this in early stages. I would consider them as someone I'm seriously dating.
Yeah, but I guess you can ask the question of, like, are you a morning person? Are you, like, what is your routine, like, on the weekends? So I guess that could be weaved out pretty early on. Because if it's, like, down the line in the relationship and they're, like, just go away, I want to sleep kind of person, that might not mesh well.
But, like, again, I understand. Like, there are, for example, people who are night owls or they need coffee before they are able to function.
Oh, I definitely know people like that, yeah.
And until then, they are just
sometimes
miserable.
People are like, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Exactly.
Like, they just don't function.
Like, yeah, in the second when, like, you are interacting and you're, like, very kind of active as I am, and they're just, like, grumpy or not in the mood, I kind of, like, it hurts in the second, but also I'm like, I know why, like, they just didn't have their coffee yet, so
it also hurts my feelings.
Like, I don't take it offensively because I also have my moods when I'm just, like, miserable and I'm just not in the mood of talking to people. So I'm like, yeah, I understand why. It's more about understanding why are they that way for me rather than, like, are they, like, now being,
Rude.
grumpy or whatever.
I always take it personally. I'm like, what do you mean? You get the pleasure of waking up with a beautiful girl in your bed. Why are you so grumpy? Like, what could possibly be so bad right now?
Yeah, I mean, I have way too many moods and changes in a day. I can't judge people on this.
I still do. It's fine.
Anyway, you do you.
Thanks.
There is someone for who this is gonna be perfect.
Yeah, somebody will put up with me one day.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling to myself.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, kind of rounding it up together
Woo!
into can you
change a man?
Elizabeth is
I'm in a mood today.
is excited, yeah. Can you change a man? Going back to our interview questions, interview answers from the beginning.
Yep.
One was about, well, I cheated on him, so now he is obsessed with me. Second was, I don't change, I change girlfriends. And third was, no.
It's really sounding real negative, guys. I think, again, I personally...
I mean, it's a entertainment purposes also, so hopefully.
Goodness. So what was Carrie's answer, though?
Carrie's answer was, I realized that neither of us will fundamentally change, but we were talking about it, and maybe that was the biggest change of all. Is first, and then there was another answer, which was, maybe you can't change a man, but once in a blue moon you can change a woman.
Ugh. I like the first one better. Like, for the first time, I actually agree with Carrie here. I don't agree with the Miranda answer.
No, I also don't like that one too much, because it's like, yeah, you can't change men, but you can change a woman sometimes. I do like more like, it's about talking about it. You can't fundamentally change someone, but shocking.
I know. It feels criminal.
Well, I think she did some self-reflection here.
Maybe.
Which on her own limitations, which is like, yeah, I can't change fundamentally who he is, but also I'm not willing to change who I am, so maybe we just need to do small changes to find something in the middle.
No, I kind of agree, because I don't think, anyone should have to fundamentally change to make a relationship work, unless it's, crazy things that are probably societally not acceptable.
Okay.
Things like that. So, I do appreciate, and I'm all for relationships that make you a better person. So it's if you figured out a way to make each other work and make it work and make each other happy, then that should definitely be the way.
It's also about wanting to change that like is coming within you.
Yeah.
Like if you see that your partner is telling you, let's say like, I really don't like this, or like, can you please do something about it, and you genuinely care because you want to make like your living or relationship as best as possible,
Right.
you want to do something about it, or like you recognize that, yeah, this might be something I can work on, you can change a lot of things, but it's always about, in like, do I agree with it internally? Like, is that something that I agree, or I see it's hurting the other, and so I'm gonna do something about
Yeah,
it.
especially not to like call out the man who got the circumcision, but like he's like, yeah, I've gotten like this feedback a lot. Like I do want to change this about myself, and I think you can apply that to any other either like habit or characteristic that you have, and you're like, yeah, I should be better at this. I think that's
Yeah.
really good application of feedback.
It's just like there needs to be a healthy balance also
Yeah.
into like where you want to like go, because if you're constantly being told, I don't like this, I don't like this, you need to do that, like at some point you're like, why are we together then?
Yeah. No, you don't want to be like overly critical to a point that it's like you're asking me to change everything about myself just to fit your needs.
Yeah.
So,
So good.
fine balance.
I am happy that we are happy with Carrie's answer. I think maybe Carrie is growing
Carrie's growing. I think so.
as a character.
I think so.
Let's see.
Yeah. No, I'm actually happy
Also,
with
Mr. Big.
Mr. Big is
Mr.
yeah.
Big.
He's listening to what she's saying. He came over to stay over her apartment.
Or he's just showing a little bit of vulnerability, like also saying, just not like me not giving you a key doesn't mean I'm not crazy about you. It's also because I already have given away 5 keys and they never come back.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Still give her a key, my goodness. Don't say that
I agree.
She's just one of another girls that's never gonna return my keys. Like,
But it's also the big, like, he has his own ways and
Yeah.
like patterns, and
quirks.
he's in his 40s. I have no clue to what extent you want to change that much when you're in your 40s. So
Yeah, and that's like another thing, and not to like it can drag on the podcast, but like it's
and that bonus.
no, but like I was at the Net and I was at a cheese tasting. The cheese tasting was amazing. We learned all about the cheese on the farm and everything else. But I met some women.
There it is, the prominent lifestyle of Elizabeth once again.
No, but I met these 2 women who were like in their 50s, and it was like a part of the conversation. Obviously, like we were all single there, so like obviously girls chatting girls things regardless of the age. They were like, yeah, dating like really sucks. Dating apps are not working, so I'm here. So I was like, wow, the bonding experience between me and like she's a mother. She has a daughter that's like my age, and she's like
Wait, and she was also on a dating app?
she's on dating apps, and she was telling me how it's like not
okay.
working and all this stuff because she's single. And she's like, yeah, I've like joined like the Net to like meet men. And so like, and it was an interesting conversation because she's like, yeah, dating is a lot harder like when you're older, because obviously like again you've built up this life that you already have this lifestyle that you're used to, so you're now just like literally looking for someone to fit your mold because you don't want to make too many changes because you've clearly already shaped who you are as a person. And so she was like just highlighting how that has made it difficult for her specifically to date. Also, she mentioned that like guys her age are interested in girls that are like 20 something. So she again reconfirmed that fact for us again. But I think that's true, and I think like that's maybe also where Big is coming from here as well. Is like he is in his later parts of life. He does have this apartment, but I was also hearing another episode that Charlotte has out, Kristen. Or Chris, I think her name is Kristen, in real life. But she was talking to Sarah Jessica Parker, and she was like, you have to understand, like, Big was, like, in his 40s, so that means, like, his parents were, like, from the 60s or 70s, so, like, he's already shaped his life what he thought, like, his parents would have wanted, and so he has it for himself, so he doesn't want to change for a girl that, like, has a different mindset about, like, her life. And so, like, I think there is a lot more factors to it rather than thinking about, like, oh, this person that doesn't want to change his characteristic. It's more of like he's just set in his ways, and like you're just trying to make almost these 2 very different worlds collide.
It's true. But also like if you want to be with someone, you should make some adjustments.
Definitely.
You know? And there were many moments where I just got very pissed with him and his behavior.
Yeah.
So it's the the balance in between these two, and also understanding each other.
For sure.
Emotionally intelligent. It's like
As we all aspire to be.
we are closing this, don't worry, but I want to give this like TikTok that again I saw today. There's this guy who like pops up on my For You page a lot because he talks about what I think a lot of women agree with.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's really hard to be emotionally intelligent because I would want to be angry with you and like why we broke up, but I also understand where it's coming from and why you are the way you are. So it's very hard to be angry with. And I was like, yes. It's like, it's true. Like, when you can understand that why people are the way they are, it's almost like you want to be angry by the way they treat you because it's still not right. But I understand why, like, where they're coming from.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's good reflection as well. Ultimately. All right, so I guess that is going to be episode 9. I'm just looking at what episode 10 is going to be. Episode 10 is going to be the caste system. Wow.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
I forgot what it was. I really forgot what it was. But we'll find out. We'll find out. We've got how many more
thank you,
episodes
everyone.
do we have? We've got 8 more after that. We actually have quite a few. We're only like halfway through.
Wait,
We're
what? How many are in one
season? They're 18. It's actually a longer season than the first one.
It is longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well,
this was a halfway point,
of
content. Everyone. We'll see you.
We are not going away yet.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to us. If you have anything to share or your insights on this episode, please share with us. We will be happy to read
DMs are open.
that. And yeah, same way as the IG models.
Woo!
Should I touch my mic to just close this? Anyway, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week.